Industry Champions. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me virtually from a long, long way away from the studio in Ponte Vedra, just kidding, kids, is Sarah Phillips with Jax Decon Corporation. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful today. We're so blessed to live in beautiful Ponte Vedra Beach. Can't complain.
I am glad spring has sprung finally. So, Sarah, talk to me about Jax Decon Corporation. What do you guys do and how do you do it?
Okay, so we specialize in biohazard. We're also licensed in all mold related services. So we do mold remediation as well as mold inspections and that. But our niche and what we really love to do is biohazard remediation. And there was a huge, there's only a handful of companies in Jacksonville that do this type of work. And both my spouse and I are former military, and we figured we would be able to handle something like this. And we actually really love our job. So we're in our second year, and we really love doing what we do. And we handle all different types of crime scenes, unattended death. We do hoarding cleanouts. And so, yeah, it's very interesting.
That's excellent. Well, number one,
There's
thank you for
never
your service, because if you didn't serve
Yes,
and
thank
do
you.
what you did, we couldn't be here today. So I know you personally, so I knew you were a veteran, but thanks for that. But it's fascinating, right? You're doing a lot of things that other people don't want to do, and I can imagine, some of these you're getting phone calls in the middle of the night, during the day, because these events unfortunately happen in spontaneous and specifically in the realm of deaths. And then there's also these larger opportunities I can imagine where people don't want to handle certain types of materials because of hazmat related or it's just dangerous. So I mean, you kind of gave me a smattering. So for business related types of activities, what kind of contracts are you willing to, large, small, what's kind of that span? And then what's your geographical location that you guys are servicing at this time?
Sure, absolutely. So we are licensed and serve all throughout Florida. And we do all types of different jobs. And this past year, starting in January, we've actually had a few veteran suicides. So I'm very passionate about that. There needs to be a huge awareness just for veterans and suicide. And so we have done jobs for the military as well as our local state police.
Okay, excellent. And so that's amazing. You guys stay busy?
Yes, we do. We are getting busier and busier, and we are in our second year, and we handle all the stuff that most people don't want to handle. And we have the stomach for it, I guess you could say. But people are really appreciative of our services because we come in, we are much more cost effective for the client because we are not some big franchise. We are locally owned and operated, so we can keep our costs very low, which is what we want to do, especially when people are going through these hard enough times. And so we're on all social media platforms. You can find us on jaxdecon.com, where we share some of our media on there, but it is very fascinating. And we deal with a lot of people who have mental illnesses, which that has to be handled with a certain amount of caution and care, especially like when people are calling in. It's usually me who will answer the phone. So we're very cautious about how we take our phone calls, and we consider ourselves the compassionate cleaners.
That's awesome. I love that. That's a great brand. Hey, so it's interesting. Last time we talked, you were working on a naval base. It was air condition removal. So, I thought it was interesting, right? It was like, okay, I don't really put air conditioners and hazmat in the same bucket, but you guys do that. It's kind of dirty and dangerous. And the fact that you're working on a government installation shows me that you have much capacity and capability to do a large variety of jobs. It just I guess imagine you say, hey, just call us. We'll figure out if we can work together or not.
That's right. Like we did a weird job a couple months ago where we were transporting an X-ray tube because it has hazmat material in it. So legally, you're not supposed to be transporting that unless you're licensed by the state of Florida to do those types of things. So we get very interesting calls, and there's never a dull moment. it's always fascinating. And really, like, some of our hoarding calls are very fascinating. It is like watching that show Hoarders, where you can walk in, and like sometimes there's like tiny pathways and in the homes. It's very fascinating. And these people too tend to be very intellectually smart.
Right. Yeah. The as far as workforce, are you guys hiring, or in the future will you need to look for highly qualified employees in the area?
Yes, of course. We're always looking for good employees and contractors, and all of the people who work with us are like, they used to be firefighters or retired police officers, because it is a lot to handle, and you have to be mentally prepared to some of these scenes that you're walking in, and if everybody could do it, everybody would. So we want to make sure that people can mentally prepare themselves for what they're going to walk into. So that's who we like to employ. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great. I know, I know you by reputation. I know the company's, reputation in itself, and I think it's a great place to work. You're right. You got to have a bit of a stomach, and also the compassion, which you mentioned, right? Because when these events occur, you're dealing with the family and then the scene. You got to have that capability to kind of, to keep it professional and to help those folks. So, Sarah, how do folks find both you, and how they find Jax Decon, so they can take a look at what you guys are doing, and if they need services, contact you guys and set something up?
Sure, 100%. So they can follow us on social media. All of our social medias are at Jax Decon. And then, of course, our local phone number is 904-906-6094. And we are open 24/7. So we respond at 3 o'clock in the morning. We consider ourselves like the second responders, and people really kind of want this stuff cleaned up. It's usually a tragic situation. So we'll be there at 3 in the morning if need be.
God bless you. That's awesome. Hey, I love that idea. That great label. Second responders, right? Doesn't mean you're second in a bad way. It means like, hey, you got to kind of expedite this, quickly for all the right reasons. So, Sarah, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your friendship. I love what you guys are doing. I look forward to seeing Jax Decon continue to expand, across the state. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll go across the St. Mary's River into southeast Georgia. But you're doing it.
You never know. Hopefully.
You never know. Yes, ma'am. So we'll take all that contact information, we'll put in our show notes, and we'll encourage folks to reach out to you and also take a look at Jax Decon. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris.
All right, folks. Hey, take a look at Sarah and Jax Decon. They have on our show notes. If you need their services, they are highly capable workforce that are going to come in here and do first class work to take care of your needs. We'll see our next industry champions, and a little gratitude.